super sidekick right in the chop as Reggie came roaring across the ring after he had diagonally whipped Doug into those turnbuckles. And talking about doubling the fist up, Gilbert let him have it. Wham! And Reggie down on hands and knees. Referee Bill Rush counting away.
Reggie rolls under the bottom rope, and now he's complaining to the referee. No telling what he's telling him. Probably that he got hit with a fist. Well, he did. There's no doubt about it. He did it first, though. Over in the corner, he had Doug trapped in the corner and hit him with a right hand. Doug, man, when he retaliates, he retaliates. Reggie grabbing the hair, slamming Doug's head into the top turnbuckle. Referee trying to get him out of the corner. Whip Doug across the way. Clothesline coming out of there. Turn Doug around. Doug is in some trouble, but back on his feet. Backs to a corner. Reggie follows it in there. Ooh, big right hand. Doug Gilbert comes flashing out of the corner, and Reggie now whips across the ring into the turnbuckle. Doug picks him up and knee drops him.
He pops him down hard, too, and that's a big guy to be picking up. Reggie right at 270. Uh-oh, grabbed the tight screw, 1, 2, and the referee caught him with his feet up on that second rope. He had Gilbert down with a 3 count, but he had 8, and now Doug Gilbert. 1, 2, 3. He reversed it on Reggie and got it, Dave.
Yeah, he used the rope, too, but the referee didn't see it. Doug had him down there. There's no doubt about it. He had the 3 count. And Doug Gilbert gets the victory in the match. Doug celebrating with all the folks just a little bit. I'd like to get him over here and talk about this situation coming up with the match that's coming up this week. Doug, lots of interesting things going on in the USWA right now, and you're involved.
You know, Dave Brown, these last few weeks, I've talked about things that have been on my mind. This week, I want to talk about what's been on my mind all week. Now, see, Dave Brown, I don't think I need to bring a resume out here and show you what I can do, because I can tell you right now. On 5 different occasions, I have been the USWA heavyweight champion. On 4 different occasions, I've been the USWA 1/2 of the tag team champions. Now see, you've got your big heavenly bodies coming in from the WWF Wrestling PG-13. Well, remember, Dave Brown, on 3 of the occasions that I have been part of the tag team champions, it is PG-13 who myself and Tommy Rich have beaten. Is that right or wrong?
That's very true.
Okay. Now let me tell you something else. You can bring every Smoky Mountain thug in the world that you want and put them in this ring right here, and myself and every one of these people will make sure they leave here and go right back to where they came from. But Dave, there's one thing that I've said. I've come out here and I've said a lot of things, and every one of them have come true except one. I said a couple weeks back when Brian Lee run his big fat mouth about things he should have talked about, I said I was going to get rid of him. Well, just so it may be, the first round of that tag team tournament this week, you know who myself and Tommy Rich wrestled, don't you, Dave Brown?
Yes, I do.
It just so happens for all these people in the first round, Dave Brown, they put myself and Wildfire Tommy Rich against Brian Lee and Axel Rotten. So, let me go ahead and tell you what's going to happen, Dave Brown. I'll go ahead and tell you before the night even gets here. Axel Rotten, I'm sure your big fat butt's been to a few barbecues. Brian Lee, the barbecue has missed you one time, but let me tell you what's going to happen this week. When I pull the lighter out of my trunks and I pull this hand up and your face starts burning up, boy, that will be the last time that anybody ever, I'm talking ever, sees you. So you better call home and you better tell your wife and you better tell your mama that you're going to be gone because you're mine, boy.
Well, Doug Gilbert saying there's more to it than just a tag team tournament. We'll be back with more action from the USWA. Boy, this loser leave town action, also a bit of controversy all of a sudden here. Buddy Landel against superstar Bill Dundee.
Yeah, that's causing irritation with Commissioner Bob Armstrong. And what? Hey, in case you weren't there, we're going to let you take a look and see exactly what happened. Buddy Landel, Bill Dundee, loser leave town.
Again, another right hand from Buddy Landel. The Nature Boy swinging with a series of right hands on Dundee. Bill gets to his feet. Landel's right there. Dundee coming out of that corner swinging. Reversal here. Dundee whipped in. Flying press right off the ropes. And it catches referee Kevin Christian now. And Kevin rolls over. And then Landel just tosses Dundee right on top of Kevin in there. At the 3-minute mark, this loser leave town between Dundee and Landel continues, and Landel just hit Dundee with something. Kevin Christian calling for the bell. Kevin calls for the bell at about 3 minutes, 17 seconds, and Kevin Christian raises the hand of Buddy Landel in 3:17. But here's Frank Morrell in it, and Frank's telling him, hey, you were doing the count 1, 2, 3, and Landel just tossed Dundee on top of you, and then went in his tights, pulled out a chain, and hit Bill with it. Kevin's reversed it. Dundee's going to be the winner. Landel is leaving town. Frank Morrell goes up to Buddy Landel. Morrell nails him. And the super...
Yeah, that was one of those I'm coming out there, Bob. You don't have to keep coming back out here every few minutes.
Would you agree with me that a picture's worth 1,000 words? Whose hand was raised first? Buddy Landel, right? He won the match fair and square.
His hand was raised first.
Now they've disqualified the man. He lost a loser leave. What kind of heart has Randy Hale got? He took money out of his pocket to feed his family, and it was an unofficial referee. How can the match be official? He should reinstate Landel as we speak. But I saw who he was wrestling. Billy Dundee's been a favorite around here for years, right?
Yes, he has.
I remember in 1975, he's a yes man for Jerry Jarrett. He was a yes man for Eddie Marley, and now it looks like he's a yes man for Randy Hale. As a matter of fact, I believe if Randy Hale made a sudden stop, Dundee'd probably break his nose in about 5 places.
Right, Bob. We don't
I know Dundee. I go way back with him. I was here, if you'll remember that. He's the original Australian shrimp on the Barbie. When they said throw the shrimp on the Barbie, he had to hide. I know Dundee. I know how things go with him. And I see how you people operate. You can't tell me now it was hearsay. Now I'm looking at the film. I'm looking and seeing.
I hope
Landel's
you look
hand
close
was
at
raised.
everything.
Landel's hand was raised. Is
You're
that right?
picking out, Bill, just a disagreement, and I know that it irritated you a little.
Lester, you just like me. You've been around here a long time, and Mr. Bullet Bob Armstrong came in out here a few times. I don't know what your beef is, Mr. Smoky Mountain against USWA. I really don't care. But when you start saying things about me following Randy Hale around, me being a yes man to this guy and that guy, you know as well as I do in the wrestling business, the only guy that looks after you is yourself. Now, that referee, I heard him say 3. I stood up. The next thing I know, Buddy Landel hits me with something. I'm down, and they're holding up Buddy's hand. How that happened, I don't know. But the other thing is, I really don't care. I'm still here, and I don't appreciate you coming out here in my hometown saying bad things about Lance Russell, everybody in here, and me.
Well, let me get my talking cap on. I saw the film. I saw Landel's hand raised first. He's the winner as far as I'm concerned, and they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Do you deny that, Dundee? Do you deny that his hand was raised first?
Something, Mr. Armstrong. I'm not denying nothing, but the last time I saw somebody turn a hat around was they were going to fight, so if you want to...
That's my official tie. That's my commissioner's tie. And keep your hands off.
in the world is he doing here?
Dundee attack from behind.
He's got that Shinnemanaki hold on him. Boy, there is one of the most dangerous holds that I've ever seen. Mongolian Stomper used that, Dave.
Yep,
You'll
sure
remember
did.
how he put a lot. Come on, Bob, you can get him stopped. You can get him stopped down there. He jumped in from behind.
What about it now?
Come on, guys, let's not have any more fighting out of it. Let's just get it out of here.
You want to go? Why don't you get your old man out of here? You want to go? You want some of this? You want some of this?
What's he doing here anyhow? Let's take a break and we'll be back in just a minute.
We're going to be going to court in the ring in just a moment here for our next match of the day, the return of Brian Christopher to television wrestling action after several weeks' absence due to a broken shoulder. Broken, matter of fact, by Billy Jack Haynes, someone that Brian has been looking for the last week or so since he got medical clearance to get back in the ring. Here he is right here, too sexy Brian Christopher, taking a few minutes to greet some of the fans. And then we'll get him on around here, and before he goes to the ring, see if we can get him to comment on the situation with Billy Jack Haynes. One more stop along the way. Here he comes, Brian Christopher. Billy Jack Haynes hurt the shoulder. The doctors have said you're ready to go, but you can't find Billy Jack.
You know, Dave, that's right. I can't find Billy Jack, and it just gets me madder and madder each time I think about this, because for 6 long weeks, everybody knows, for 6 long weeks, I sat at home and I watched Billy Jack sit out here, and Billy Jack was talking about he hurt my shoulder. He put me out of action for good. Billy Jack Haynes was the new man around here. Billy Jack Haynes crippled Brian Christopher. Brian Christopher, he was a sissy. Brian Christopher, he was a wimp. Brian Christopher, he wasn't as tough as Billy Jack Haynes. And then when my shoulder gets well and Brian Christopher comes back, where's Billy Jack Haynes, Dave? That's when Billy Jack Haynes comes up with he had a concussion. Billy Jack Haynes had a concussion and he couldn't wrestle me after week after week after week. 6 weeks of saying what a big sissy, what a punk, what a young brat I was. Well, Billy Jack Haynes, I was standing there waiting on you, and you were nowhere to be found. He said the doctor wouldn't let him wrestle because of his concussion. Well, every wrestler I've ever seen, every big tough man that I've ever known, never let a little concussion keep them out of a match that they wanted so bad, Billy Jack. That's why I don't think you're as tough as you say you are. That's why I think all you are is a bunch of words, Billy Jack Haynes, and you ain't man enough to back up those words. Well, this week, right here, we got a grudge match, Billy Jack Haynes. And believe me, I'm no chicken. You might have called me a lot of things, but I am no chicken. I will be there, Billy Jack Haynes. And if you think that a concussion held you back this week, that ain't gonna be nothing compared. And I see we got Gorgeous George coming out here. But Billy Jack Haynes, don't worry, I'll put my fist upside your head soon enough, Gorgeous George. But Billy Jack Haynes, a concussion ain't gonna be nothing compared to what I'm gonna give you this week, because it's gonna make me really happy when I keep pounding you and busting you right upside that fat mouth that did all the running.
All right, there he is, Brian Christopher. Let's go to the ring right now for the introductions for this match. Corey?
Okay, Dave, we're ready. 1 fall, a 10-minute time limit for action right here in the ring. 237 pounds, and hailing from Hollywood, California, it's Gorgeous George III. And in his corner, Uptown Karen. Well, his opponent today wrestles out of Memphis, Tennessee at 225 pounds. He's back to sexy Brian Christopher. 1 fall, 10 minutes in time. Bill Rush, the referee for this one. Over to Lance and Dave.
All right, thank you, Corey. Should be a good match here. The Gorgeous George III in action against a returning Brian Christopher.
Right now, Brian Christopher with a few gentle words for Uptown Karen, and believe me, Karen, he means every word of it. He said, you get close to that ring, put the foot right in the mouth, and he means exactly what he's saying. Gorgeous George III out of the box in a hurry, standing side headlock on Christopher, but he couldn't hold as long as he comes back with the shoulder. Beautiful hit call by Brian. Easy for Karen to say. She's telling Gorgeous George, don't let him do that to you.
Gorgeous George called a quick timeout, which is not allowed, of course. But he went over before the conference with Karen. Karen yelling something at Brian Christopher, and he's yelling back at her as if to say, it doesn't bother me what you say. Just stay out of my way.
Excellent amateur background Gorgeous George III has. So he is a capable wrestler, to say the least, but Brian Christopher, who's been out and off of television because of that broken shoulder. Oh, no. We don't need that.
Billy Jack Haynes has just arrived in the studio. While the match is underway, all of a sudden, here comes Billy Jack Haynes.
Why don't you just wait?
Brian was saying that maybe he didn't have the guts to come out here, and Billy Jack is just telling him he doesn't back down from anybody.
Billy Jack Haynes out here, stays away from the ring and doesn't try to get involved in the action up there with Gorgeous George.
Let's get this right off the bat. I don't back down from nobody, and I said pro wrestling's the toughest sport going. I got a very serious concussion, and these doctors wouldn't let me wrestle him. As everybody has seen, I wanted to wrestle this man, and I'm giving him credit. He's a tough man to come back from that shoulder injury. But I want to get it clear right now. I don't back down to nobody.
You heard it right from Billy Jack Haynes. And I will say this, Brian Christopher kind of rubbing it in on Gorgeous George. Down on the floor. For Billy Jack Haynes' credit, I will say that he did not have a release from the doctor, and the promotion could not let him get in the ring without a doctor's release because of the liability aspect of it. Look at that.
That air freshener, Gorgeous George, was passed by Karen over there, and he sprayed Brian Christopher in the face with it.
There's that European uppercut. Gorgeous George III trying to follow up the advantage that the hairspray gave to him. And he takes Brian over and down. Count of 1, 2. And the third count was coming down when Christopher kicked up and out of it. Gorgeous George missing that elbow. He was flying into it. Christopher out. Firing away with that right hand. The whip. And he hooked him in.
I'm not taking nothing away from Brian Christopher. You can see the man can wrestle. He's a tough kid. I don't back down to no one.
Don't get hollering at me about it, Billy Jack. Brian Christopher's the one you got to beat the sun with. Into the road. And Gorgeous George hangs on. Look at this, Christopher. 1, 2, 3, that's all. That'll give you an idea of some of the things that he can do in there.
Promotion's not gonna tell me what I can do and what I can't do.
All we're trying to get you to do, Billy Jack, is to base some rules for a change.
This promotion's not gonna tell me what I can or cannot do. So let's get a little big mouth tough guy over here.
Well, the promotion said you couldn't wrestle because you didn't have medical clearance, is what the promotion said.
I don't back down to nobody, man. Just understand that.
There's another.
Come on, there, Billy Jack.
Come on, man, you guys.
Come on, Billy Jack. I can't. I don't back down to
Billy Jack Haynes and Brian Christopher. We're about to have a brawl and settle it right here. Brian comes out of the ring. Billy Jack, I don't blame him. Brian's coming over here. Billy Jack standing right there. Let's take a break and we're going to be back in a minute.
Okay, Lance, we're ready for this one to the expiration of our time today on USWA Championship Wrestling. The official referee signed for this bout is Bill Rush, and making their way to the ring area at a combined weight of 555 pounds. Come on. From Newcastle, England, Axel Rodman, sponsored from Orlando, Florida, primetime Brian Lee, and in their corner, Brandon Baxter. The schedule of opponents for this bout, and Dunn's partner schedule was Bill Dundee. Bill not going to be able to wrestle.
Well, we were skeptical.
Hey, hold on just a minute. Everybody saw what that goof from Smoky Mountain Wrestling did to Bill Dundee. I was signing a tag to wrestle you two goofs today. Bill's back in the back right now, and they're tending to him. I talked to Randy Hales. I'll wrestle either one of you goofs. It doesn't matter which one. Randy, you pick a man. I'll beat him right here in the middle.
Stephen Dunn saying he'll take any one of you on, either Axel Rotten or Brian Lee.
Come on up in here. Come on.
No. One of you. Not all three, one of you. Axel Rotten loses the jumps him, and Rotten comes roaring back in.
Never got in the ring. Now you got two of them on him. Axel Rotten and Brian Lee both absolutely the typical kind of thing that we have seen out of these wrestlers and anybody associated with Brandon Baxter. Stephen Dunn. Here comes Doug Gilbert. Nails Rotten. Pounds and Lee. Goes after him. Stephen Dunn back on his feet.
Doug Gilbert has been looking for Brian Lee anyway. He's got him now down on the floor. Doug following him out as he threw him out of the ring. Look out.
Gilbert slams ahead. Lee.
Hey, get him out.
Back out in the crowd. And Stephen Dunn goes after Axel Rotten.
Yeah, we've got security in the crowd there.
Gilbert with Lee down on one of the benches where the spectators see. I notice you're running away. Gilbert pulled back to the ring and he slammed down on the ring apron. Brian Lee and Gilbert, who were formerly partners. Referee officially stopping the bout. Really and truly never got started because the minute that Stephen Dunn tried to get in the ring, he was jumped by Lee. Okay, we got to take a break here, and we'll be back with the end of this in a moment.
Get him back
we battled ourselves through a kind of a tough show today here. With all due respect to Bob Armstrong, I just think he's got to get his head on straight with all of the information. And I'll tell you one thing for a fact. This thing of his son, Brian Jesse James Armstrong, coming out here and jumping Dundee from behind the way he did. Bob, you know, I honestly think, and I give Bob the benefit of the doubt, I don't think he knew that was going to happen. Bill Dundee had some comments to make to Jesse James. Take a listen.
You see, Bob Armstrong, it might have been USWA against Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I don't know, and that has really got nothing of my concern. But now you've made it personal. And you know what I'm talking about. Jesse James Armstrong is your son, brother, and he came in Pearl Harbor, the superstar. Well, I don't know if he's coming in here to try to make a reputation of what the big boy wants to do. Oh, yeah, and I'm not selling him short. He's the real deal. He was a Marine. He was off in the, whatever it was, that Gulf War over there. Yeah, the guy's got guts. But he showed how much he had when he jumped me from behind. Well, brother, I'm just going to tell you something, Mr. Armstrong. When that bell rings, you're going to be looking, yeah, that's right, 5'7", 200 pounds. But it's the meanest 5'7" you're ever going to be around, son. Now, if you've come into this area to make a reputation, we're just going to see how big and bad you are. You come from a long line of wrestlers. You got 3 brothers at wrestling. Your father wrestled, so I'm sure you know about wrestling. But it ain't going to be a wrestling, boy. It's going to be a fight. And I know who's going to win it. It's going to be me, because you're going to go all over town. Oh, well, he's only a midget as far as I'm concerned. That's all been said before, son. When that bell rings, I'm knocking your lights out, boy.
Well, it's a done deal. That match is going to happen. Superstar Bill Dundee, Brian Jesse James Armstrong, and believe me, when they get together, Dundee said it, and he said it right. It's all been said before. Little guy, no way to do it, been around too long, Let me tell you, that is going to be a heck of a match, babe. And if Brian Jesse James Armstrong thinks he's in for a pushover, another thing coming.
Better think again. No doubt about it. What a day today on USWA Wrestling. Doug Gilbert looked good in his bout we saw him. What about Too Sexy Brian Christopher?
I tell you, did he not look ready?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this guy has been sitting at home. He's not one of these peaceful kind of a guys that sits and takes it very easy.
No.
He's ready to go. And he's mad at Billy Jack Haynes because he's the one that put him out with that bad shoulder. Boy, I'll tell you, that's going to be a scrap when those two guys get together. Hey, we're out of time. For Brother Dave Brown, Corey Macklin, this is Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody.